Well, good morning. Our goal today is to get ourselves positioned to install the solar charge controller and the inverter. To do that, I need to run cable from the roof, from the solar panels, down to where I'm going to place the charge controller and the inverter. So when I started looking at the reality of this, this is 6-gauge cable that had been shipped to us as part of our kit from AM Solar. They gave me 5 feet. 5 feet isn't enough, like at all, unless I were to do some kind of splice and add in like another cable. So I talked to them at AM Solar and said, what am I supposed to do with this? It seems like way too short. And they said, well, how much do you need? So I told them I needed 15 feet. And they shipped that to us. That just arrived, I don't know, 2 days ago. So we have the 15 feet. So what I need to do on the roof, I need to install this. This is our box. Forgot the name of it. Some charge box? Yeah, combiner box. Combiner box. So we'll do punch outs on the side. We're going to run in the lines from the solar panels on the roof. And then through this hole, we're going to drill a hole in the roof. The hole from the roof, we will run down with this wire. Well, not this wire, the other wire that just got shipped to me. We would run it down from the roof all the way down underneath the sink, all the way over here to underneath the oven, which is where we're going to put the solar charge converter, and the solar charge converter and the inverter will go under the oven. So my task today really is pretty simple. I need to drill a couple holes and run some wire and get myself positioned to where I can actually jump on tomorrow morning and do the inverter and the solar charge controller. My goal overall is trying to minimize any kind of time where we'd be completely without power in the camper. So just running wire today seems innocent enough, but I do have to drill a couple holes in the roof. One hole in the roof, one hole inside, so never like doing that. So come on and join us. I think my easiest access point to the roof is going to be through this cabinet behind this panel. So I'm going to take everything out, take this panel off, and then we'll look and see what we have. Yeah, I was watching a video of people like drilling the holes into their roof, and it seems like actually there's a bit of trial and error to this, which I was a little surprised at. So I got a very tiny drill bit that I'm going to use. I guess I thought thered be like some definitive answer, like, you drill here. And it does not seem to be the case. Right, so it feels like plastic. No, it feels like carpets. So this is where I need to drill a hole into the ceiling. I'll point with the light. I'd like to, my preference is to drill more over here towards the corner. So it seems like my space is pretty tight going down. So I think I'm going to try to feed the line through here first and see if I can make that work. So this door is, I think, just going to get in my way today, so I'm just going to take it off the hinges and set it out of the way. best guess of what we're going to end up doing here. So I've removed all the cable harness here, wiring harness. Down here, where behind the control box, there's like 1 or 2 really tight holes for wires to go through. So I think I'm going to end up just drilling a new hole here, like straight beneath, that I could run the cable through. That might make it the easiest for me. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's the cable harness that I pulled out. Here's the opening. If we look inside there, you can kind of see down there, everything's jammed in. So I don't really think there's space. So I think I'm going to run like a brand new line, like brand new hole, I guess, right here, going down. Here's my update. I'm having a hard time, like, trying to even drill a hole back here behind the wall. Honestly, I'm a little nervous about drilling a hole because I can't see where it goes. So I'm trying to access this through the bottom, and the sink is in the way. So, wasn't my plan when I started this, but I'm now going to take the sink out so I have easier access to the wall back here. So, what are you going to do? Somehow this is not playing out exactly the way I thought my day was going to plan out. My goal was to just run from the roof with the line down this access wall and under the sink. I got really concerned back here that I'm hitting the fiberglass shell, so I'm having a hard time drilling. So I took the sink out, and then once I'm under the sink, I can see that it looked really difficult for me to do this. Like, I'd have to punch at least 2 more holes, one on the side here and then one on the bottom. So I thought, let's look for another route. So I found there's another access route, cable route, that runs along the top in the tray here. I'll show you. So it runs back here. I took a part off that's buried now. I'll show it to you later. So I'm running the cable along the top. I thought, oh, if I can get behind the microwave, I could probably do a straight shot down from the microwave. So I took out the microwave, and the microwave, there is nothing coming straight down behind it. So it comes over to the wall with their pantry here. So took out the stuff in the pantry, and then there's another access wall behind the pantry. So I've taken out that wall. Yay, we've actually found a way to get the wire down. So now I have our wire all the way down here underneath where the stove was.
You took out the stove?
Yeah. So
let me just show you this. Here's our kitchen.
The day's not playing out exactly the way I thought. But on the positive side, I think we're going to end up knocking out an extra kitchen project today. I had planned to redo to put in a different faucets. Since I now have the kitchen gutted and the sink is out, there really is no better time than today to do that. So I've got the cable here. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to set the inverter down here on the ground and make sure it fits. But then I'm actually just going to work my way backwards now and put everything back together as I go. So yeah, this just was not how I thought my morning was going to go. But we've got a line here. So I still haven't actually gotten onto the roof, and I thought I'd be on the roof within like a half hour. So I don't know. But we have a line. I feel good about that. So back here, this is the wire that I just ran down from the top. So we had an opening up here, fed it down through the bottom, and there was an opening I could stuff it through behind the oven. So here's where I'm coming out behind the oven. This is our gas connection that I disconnected, or propane, excuse me. And then down here, this is where I put the inverter. You know, I'm trying to balance, you know, there's buttons on this end. I'll show you. So I've got the on, off, and the connections back here. But I've also got my output here on the other end. So here's my output. So maybe for wiring, I think this is the way to go. No, I don't know. Yeah, I got to figure out the best place to put this, because with an on-off button, particularly for me thinking of having to do some kind of like a hard reset, I'd want to be able to reach my arm in here, or reach Noel's arm in here and hit the button. If I'm oriented this way, it just may be too much of a reach. So when we look above microwave here, it's all the stuff that just came out of the pantry. So there's a wire above the microwave. I got the wire running along the back here. I'll put a cable tray back up. I fed it through the top here. So now I'll get back to the business of I need to drill a hole here going up to get the wire up to the roof, to the connection box. But first I need to put all this back together. One thing that I noticed in the microwave, I was surprised when I popped off this panel, on the left side the screws were backed at least halfway out. So I'd never really thought like, oh, I should retighten screws on the microwave. But yes, and I found the same thing on the oven. So another free one for you. Tighten this stuff down periodically. We didn't. It's been 2 years, almost all the way back down on this side. This is what I removed. So it's kind of like a protection for the wire tray. So it just goes right back here. And then it screws up to hide all the wires. So this is actually easier than drilling a bunch of holes. I looked all over the place trying to find other people who have done this kind of install themselves, and I just was not having a lot of success. So if you've got a 990 wire tray in the back, behind the microwave, down the spice cabinet, under the oven, send me cash for that, because I just saved you time. All right, now I'll screw this back up. Here's the hole we punched through. So this is where the solar panel was sitting. You can see like the dirt spot. So I'm going to drill a hole here, down, and punch out hopefully in the right spot below. So that's why we had a pilot hole though, to tell us exactly where to drill. Trying to figure out the orientation here. So I've got this is my box. So I've got a panel on the left. So I need to figure out where to punch out my holes here. So if I orient like this, I'll have two panels in front of me, one panel on the left of me, and then my line will come in here from the camper. So this will be the line, I guess it goes actually from solar panels down to the solar charge controller. So I'll come out here. So if I were to run, one line here, one line here, that would bring them in from my two panels, and then one line back here for this panel. So that would give me three. So the instructions I was reading said you want to break these out with a hammer and a screwdriver. So I'm going to take this back down and do that, then I'll bring it back up and we'll glue it and get it into place. The instructional video I was watching was pretty clear. You want to drive these out before you get on your roof. I'll take their word for it. So I'm going to pop out these two, this guy in the middle. They said to hit off center. Alright, so they being AM Solar instructional video. They probably said to take those out first too. There's two. What did we say? Oh yeah, we're going to do this one back here. Will be number 3. Nice. 1, 2, 3. So these are the sealers, I guess? I'm not sure what we call them, really. Feed the wire through here. Wire goes, so I'll say it goes like this. And then once the wire feeds in, it's just a watertight fitting. Now I'll just tighten it up on this side. Or not. Oh, that's really tight. Okay, so I'm gonna back it off on this side a little bit. Start putting it on this side. A little tight. Use my screwdriver. Cinch that down a bit. There's one. I figured this is just easier for me to do down here on the ground versus there on the roof. crooked. It's the advantage of having a belly. You always have something to rest on. One, two, there's three. So the box for the roof, combiner box, was one of the things that was in our schematic when we bought this kit. Whoops. So I guess really the backstory. The AM Solar folks, I told them here's the kind of camper we have. Here's what I'm looking to do, and then they designed it. So in their schematic, their design schematic, they showed that we would have this combiner box on the roof, but it was not actually in the parts list. So even though it said we needed it, we didn't have it. So this was one of the things that they had to ship to us, was this combiner box. And then just last week I noticed, I was like, oh hey, I'm gonna have 3 solar panels, but you only sent me 2 kits. So they sent me a 3rd kit on Friday. So it's kind of been a learning process on my part of what is here versus what I kind of wish was here. So I'm the wire I just put up, the 6 gauge, I'm gonna run the 6 gauge through here, then we'll connect the 6 gauge on each side over here, my positive and negative, and then my solar panel wires will run in here and in here. Then here with the 6 gauge, they run down to the solar charge controller. From the charge controller, they go to an inverter. From inverter, it goes to a transfer switch. Transfer switch, it'll go to our breaker, I think. So, I'm trying to make sure I have everything before I climb up on the roof again. Since we're doing this in the summer, we've got a little bit of flexibility as far as I'm not really worried about rain. So, I'll probably run these wires tomorrow, but today, go ahead and get this anchored on here, screwed down, die core, and get the lid on. So I think that's kind of what I'm shooting for right now. So I cleaned the whole area already with the isopropyl alcohol. Now I will put down a nice little bead of die core and drop this down. I don't know what the heck they call it, some kind of, oh look at that. What the heck is that for? Oh, so tighten these. How cute is that? Yeah. That's what I miss for like doing it downstairs in the shade. It's not like 120 freaking degrees. Oh, yeah, it kind of tightens it a little bit. Okay, anyway, it's like this plumber's putty stuff. And I'm going to take this plumber putty stuff and I'm going to jam it in the hole. Just right by the top. And the goal really is just to kind of make a plug that the die core can sit on, so the die core just doesn't like drain completely down through the hole into the camper. Alright, so let me tighten these other guys up. We'll switch you to fast forward for now.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost This is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
I'm at a point on the roof now where I just need time for the die-core to dry. So I got the box on, got the die-core underneath the box, got the die-core around the box. Those of you that are observant probably noticed that I forgot to pull off the sticky tape on the bottom of the box. But because I'm using screws and die-core, I'm not so worried about a little bit of sticky tape. So I filled up the hole that we drilled with the little putty stuff, and then on top of that I put the die-core. So really I'm at a good point to pause and let it dry. Kind of what I suspected was going to happen happened, and I'm going to need to relocate our original solar panel from my left side to my right side of the camper. Not a big deal. We're headed to the RV store now, so I'll just pick up some more, hopefully brackets. Pretty easy to do that. And then since we're going to the RV store, I was going there to pick up a new faucet rather than trying to figure out why it's leaking, which I already have off and on as we've been traveling. I'm just going to replace the whole freaking thing since I have such easy access to it right now. So we are replacing the sink faucet. So it's had a leak. We find it every once in a while, like our counter is like soaked, and then I've mucked around with it before, taking it apart, and it seemed like there's some kind of gasket in here somewhere that has a leak. So rather than doing the right thing and taking it apart and trying to fix it, we just kind of opted to replace the whole thing. We found a unboxed whatever faucet for 20 bucks at the RV shop. So we're going to give it a whirl and see where we end up. This certainly was not on my project list when I started my day, but because we have such easy access to it, it seems like it would be a crime to not do it. So yeah, even though our temperature says it's 96 in here.
I'm sweating just standing here.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. All right, I'll get back to work.
Okay.
Seems like our temperature's holding 96.
I think it's at 114.
Outside it says 113, yeah.
But I don't think that's really what it is. I think it's just because we're sitting in the full sun. I'm pretty sure it's not 113.
Whatever it is, it's pretty warm.
I'm dripping like it's 140. There's our new faucet.
I don't remember. Was that the back or the front?
Oh, that's the back.
It's the back. All right. That looks a little better.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Looks good there. How about underneath?
That water's hot.
It's hard to see under there, but it doesn't look like any leaks. Good.
I'm waiting for the water to get cold. Oh, I think it must have gotten really hot just sitting in our
Clothes, huh?
Yeah, now it's cold.
Okay, stick my head under there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That's it for today.
All right.